Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. For those watching for the first time, welcome. My name is Dan Pardo, and this is Pardo's Turn, my weekly Wednesday web series where I do a bit of song analysis from a music director's point of view and perhaps shed a little light on what makes the gems of our musical theater canon so great. In my first month, I have had Chuck Cooper, Nancy Anderson, and Lauren Marcus. Go check out those episodes if you haven't already. And today, somehow I convinced my Man Crush Monday, James Snyder, to come and discuss probably one of my favorite musical theater songs of all time. So I'm very happy right now. James has originated starring roles on Broadway in If Then, In Transit, and Crybaby. But to me, he'll always be my Billy Bigelow after a very special production of Carousel at Goodspeed. So today, we are taking a look at If I Loved You, and really, the whole bench scene. It's kind of hard to separate one from the two. That's because this song is not just a song. It's one big, expertly crafted musical scene with sections of through-composed underscore and operatic recitative that go back and forth with such ease, depth, and economy that a romance as complex as any in the Broadway canon comes to full fruition in just under 10 minutes. It's incredible and groundbreaking in form, and while I could do a whole mini-series on this one piece, I just want to highlight a couple sections before we get to the song proper. First, listen to the harmonic vocabulary that they use while singing to each other. It's incredibly thick and chromatic. You're a queer one, Julie Jordan. Have you ever had a fella you gave money to? Ain't you ever had a fella at all? Well, you must have had a fella you been walking with. Where'd you walk? Nowhere special I recall. In the woods, on a beach. Did you love him? Like Make Believe from Showboat or People Will Say We're in Love from Oklahoma, If I Loved You neatly falls into the category of I'm not at all in love type songs. It's a common trope, but usually they're sweet and charming with a bunch of simple chords set to an umchuk pattern. Clearly, this is a different approach. And when you consider the characters in play, it must be. Julie and Billy are complicated, tragic individuals, and Richard Rodgers needed to write music that spoke to that truth. Contrast their song with the Mr. Snow sequence. Another brilliantly crafted song, but Carrie, in comparison, has met a much more simple man in Enoch. It's all there in the music. The next thing I want to talk about is the great evocative writing. There's nothing generic about this composition. First, there's what I call the mill theme, which is this motor rhythm style accompaniment suggestive of the looms that Julie worked on. When I worked in the mill, and so forth. Later on, Billy sings about being in love with great disdain set to the same musical motive. It's like he's mocking the structure of it all, as if to say that if love means following a sewing pattern, he has no interest. Next, there's the blossoms gesture. The wind brings them down. Dramaturgically, the fact that they actually come down when it's just their time is a beautiful metaphor for the end of the scene, but the setup is equally important and doesn't go by without careful consideration. But then the song starts and everything becomes straightforward, right? Wrong. Everything Rodgers and Hammerstein did to set up If I Loved You doesn't go away once the song begins. Take the first phrase, for example. The first 3 notes, even. If I loved you. Wow, that's quite a chord. A fully diminished 7th. One of my music theory professors used to call that the tied to the train tracks chord. So they're foreshadowing that the love will not be easy. Let's go on. Time and again I would try to say. Now, R&H could have easily written those as dotted 8ths and 16ths, like this. Time and again I would try to say. But that militant march-style rhythm has stability and control, whereas the triplets, tied over from beat 1, cascade down like they've lost their balance and have no choice but to succumb to love's power. The song continues with a level of harmonic sophistication equal to Brahms or Schumann, the masters of 19th century Romanticism. The lyric, afraid and shy, even utilizes the Neapolitan chord, built on the flat 2. How often do you see that in musical theater? It all climaxes with the penultimate phrase, harmonized with the minor 2, before retreating back to the tonic. Because, of course, the song is not called Julie Jordan, I Love You, it's If I Loved You. Both the lyrics and the music are conditional. There is one last important detail I have to mention. I've talked a lot about the harmonic complexity, the chromaticism, and that's all true. But in the main song, the entire melody is diatonic, that is, contained within the given key. Rodgers composed it in D flat, but for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to transpose it down to C. And look. All white keys. Not a single sharp or flat. In fact, I could play this entire melody on my nephew's toy xylophone. See, on the surface, their love seems easy and natural. But if you dig a little deeper, it's not. Far from it. Hey James!
How you doing, Dan?
So I would say thanks for joining me, but we're here at your place in Maplewood, so thanks for having me.
Thank you very much. Technically West Orange.
West Orange, I'm sorry.
Orange. Yeah, that's okay. But luckily I brought my Dunkin' Donuts, so we'll be ready.
Very good. So with all the other videos we've done so far, and I guess there have only been 3, the performers or the guests have chosen their own songs, and you kind of gave me the green light to pick whatever I wanted. So thank you for indulging me with this.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
It's nice to relive this role a little bit with you, and also to do a deep dive into what I think is one of the most brilliant kind of musical sequences in the entire Broadway canon. So, yes. But it's everyone when they talk about Billy Bigelow, they talk about soliloquy.
Yeah.
So how would you kind of compare your preparation for this sequence as compared to the act one closer?
The bench scene is one of those things where it's like, when approaching it, it's the scope of it is so big, you have to almost take it piece by piece and say, what am I doing now? And now where are we at? And now, all of a sudden, I think when we were working it, all of a sudden he met this girl who wasn't like the other girls, and I think had never even considered. I mean, when things are going really well and you're the man at the carnival barker or the carousel barker and that, it's like, for me, I think I approached it from all of his stuff of what it would mean to actually be loved and what it would mean to love also, and the things he'd have to give up or the things that he'd have to reveal about himself, and vulnerability that he doesn't want to deal with.
Right.
I think is sort of that's sort of how I approached it. Was just what I was going through at the time, and the kind of actor I am and what I like to dig into and the parts of myself I like to sort of dig into.
What's your process when you approach a big role like Billy?
I don't even know what I was getting into, I'm telling you. I was like, wait, what? I happen to be in New York auditioning for Book of Mormon. And they were like, well, Goodspeed Opera House is doing Carousel. I was like, oh, that's cool show. I didn't really know it that well. And auditioned, and all of a sudden I was like, oh. So for me, I think in approaching it, like I said, it was just taking it piece by piece, and so I approached it vocally also. I took my voice teacher Edward Sayegh, and I was like, let's get this set, and let's get this legit sound that I was just sort of really newly discovering. And then you walk into the room to rehearse it, and you just got to throw all that away and just listen to the other person. And luckily, I had Teal Wicks and Aaron Davey to work with, and it doesn't get any better than
So Teal left after what, like a month and a half to do that
Jekyll and
Hyde tour. So what was it like playing this character? I mean, I thought they were both brilliant Julies, but very different. So what was it like playing opposite one as opposed to the other?
I think Teal had a toughness, like a tomboyish toughness to her that was fun to push against and was surprising. And Aaron Davey felt much more like a wounded bird in a way, but with a lot of strength still. So it was like seeing that and not wanting to hit too hard against that, you know. But then at the same time, she also pushed back, and she has got a gorgeous voice.
Yeah,
also.
and has that role and the preparation for that role kind of changed the trajectory of your career in terms of what parts you play and approach? And...
Yeah. Actually, that role. Well, what's crazy is just when you talk about soliloquy, my wife was pregnant at the time.
Right.
So I also was just like literally dealing with having a child, and like, I mean, I found out whether it was a boy or a girl in the middle of our run.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was like, I was like, all right, well, we're going to find out today if it's a boy or a girl. And then I was like, it's a boy. All right. You know, and then all of a sudden it was a whole other thing. So it meant, like, I wonder what he'll think of me. And it'll be like, I wonder. And so it was very personal for me.
Sure.
And I was lucky enough to have David Stone, famed producer of Wicked and all that kind of stuff, and come to the show. I was like, I'm producing this show called If Then. You need to audition for this musical If Then. So it really set up, for me, it got me in the door to be able to do, I mean, the most significant role, I think, of my career thus far. I know what it'd be like. It'd be awful. Ugh. I can just see myself. Kind of scrawny and pale, picking at my food, and lovesick like any other guy. I'd throw away my sweater and dress up like a dude in a dickie and a collar and a tie. If I loved you.
But you don't.
No, Dan. No, I don't. But somehow I can see just exactly how I'd be if I loved you. Time and again I'm trying to say all I want you to know. If I loved you, words wouldn't come in an easy way. Round in circles I'd go, longing to tell you, but afraid and shy. I'd let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the mist of day. Never, never to know how I love you. If I love you.
Oh, it's so great to hear you sing that.
Oh, thanks, man.
So what's do you have anything on the books coming up?
Heading up. Well, I've got the CD or the song out, and then I'm heading to Pittsburgh CLO to go do Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, great!
And that's kind of it right now.
And this is a role that you've done at least once before at Sacramento?
I did it at Sacramento Music Circus, where I'm from. It was cool. Like,
fun.
you know, when you get to go like do like a show like that for like my grandparents.
Well, this was a lot of fun.
This is a treat.
And best of luck with the new house.
Thank you. I will get this basement together if it kills me. Hopefully it doesn't.
No, it's great.
Yeah. And
looking forward to
organized and madness.
To seeing.
Yeah, dude. Well, till next time, we'll figure something else out.
All right. Well, if you like this episode, if you want to hear James more, subscribe, share, like, comment, tweet. That's a new one, yeah. Bye. Thank you.
Longing to tell you